families and friends,
the class of 2018.
Families and friends,
please rise for the faculty of the University of Georgia.
families and friends,
The Grand Marshal and the Party of the President of the University of Georgia.
And friends to this spring's graduate commencement ceremony. As the birthplace of public higher education in America, we are proud to the accomplishments of our outstanding students with you today. Please remain standing for the presentation of the flag of the United States of America and the flag of the state of Georgia, to be followed by our national anthem. The colors will be presented by cadets from the University of Georgia Army ROTC unit. The national anthem will be led by Lakin Danielle Morris, a Master of Music, Voice Performance, and Master of Arts Musicology candidate from Evanston, Illinois, Following the national anthem, please continue standing for the invocation to be offered by Lindsay Atkinson, Lead Associate Director of the UGA Wesley Foundation.
Colors, halt, left, face.
Let us pray. Gracious God, what a joyous occasion we gather for today at the University of Georgia. We come as students, family, friends, faculty, and staff from various faiths and spiritual traditions to honor the hard work and accomplishments of our graduates. We thank you for the opportunity to pursue higher education, for the opportunity to further our knowledge, and for the chance to be a part of something larger than ourselves. Thank you for the meaningful friendships we have made at UGA that we will cherish throughout our lives, and for our families who have sacrificed so much and supported us every step of the way. God, we thank you for this university and for the administration, faculty, and staff that make it possible for students to grow, learn, and become more fully equipped for their futures. We pray that you would bless President Moorhead and give him wisdom and vision as he continues to lead this institution to greater heights. Lord, we pray that you would direct the steps of each graduate and make their way firm. We ask that you would call them into vocations that will lead to success and a fruitful life. We ask that the class of 2018 would bring justice, peace, and righteousness into the places that they are going. Make them confident leaders in their communities, in our state, and in our world. Give them peace and assurance as they leave this season of their life and step into the next. We pray that they would be agents of change and shine light into dark places. Furthermore, we ask that their days at the University of Georgia would be remembered fondly and with great joy. Yet this day would be a mark for them that the best days are still to come in their lives. As they depart this ceremony today, may your Spirit give each of them a desire to be lifelong learners, and may they never forget the pride there is in being a Georgia Bulldog. Amen.
Thank you, Lakin, and thank you, Lindsay. Everyone, please be seated. First, I want to thank the University of Georgia Wind Ensemble for providing this morning's music. We are truly grateful to the Hugh Hodson School of Music and Director Dale Monson for providing us with such talented individuals. I also want to express my appreciation to the UGA Army ROTC cadets for presenting our colors, and to members of the Art Society for helping with the ceremony. And if you would, please take this opportunity now to silence cell phones and other devices. We gather today in this setting to formalize the accomplishments of the graduates that you see before you. We celebrate their hard work, their commitment to a goal, their dedication to the ideals of the University of Georgia, and importantly, the support of their families and friends. Commencement is a rite of passage, long held dear in academia. But commencement at the University of Georgia is truly something special. The symbols and rituals we incorporate today, from the wearing of the red and black to the college and school banners on our stage and the singing of the alma mater, all are sacred traditions to us. They bind us together as alumni, more than 310,000 of us all around the world. As a fellow alumnus, it's my honor to stand alongside our graduates as a devoted member of the University of Georgia community. We are all loyal, we are proud, and we make a positive impact on the world. All of you go forth today as ambassadors of one of the nation's most prominent land-grant institutions and the birthplace of public higher education in America. You are a steward of a 230-year tradition of teaching, research, and service. You are leaving here with the capacity to shape the future of your community, this state, this nation, and indeed the whole world. We now expect uncommon things from you because you are a graduate of the University of Georgia. Congratulations. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our spring commencement speaker, the Dean of the College of Education, Dr. Denise Spangler. Dean Spangler joined, Dean Spangler joined the UGA faculty in 1995. She is a member of the UGA Teaching Academy and has received numerous awards throughout her career, including the Richard B. Russell Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Teaching. The majority of her career has involved helping elementary education majors learn to teach mathematics in ways that build on the numerical and spatial thinking they develop from interacting with the world. She also teaches graduate courses on mathematics teaching and teaching education. Dean Spangler's research is tightly integrated with her teaching. She seeks to understand how novice teachers put into practice what they have learned from their teacher education programs, their experiences in schools, and their own experiences as students, and how they balance these sometimes competing influences. She is the author of 100 publications, including journal articles, book chapters, and books. Dr. Spangler is also active in our community and in her field. She was an elected member of the Board of Education for Clark County School District for 12 years and served 2 terms as vice president of the board. Her national service includes chairing editorial panels for journals in mathematics education and serving on the board of directors for the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome today's graduate commencement speaker, Dean Denise Spangler.
Thank you, President Moorhead, for that kind introduction, and thank you, Dean Barbour, for inviting me to celebrate this day with our graduates. Graduates, congratulations. Today is an exciting day that marks both an end and a beginning. It marks the end, for now, of a lot of reading, writing, collecting and analyzing data, art exhibitions, musical performances, and theatrical productions. And it marks the beginning of whatever is next for you. More graduate school, a job, the same job but with a different perspective and new ideas, a move across the state, across the country, or around the world. I hope that your time at Georgia has been filled with opportunities to learn. Academic content, yes, but also to learn about yourself and others, especially those who are different from you. For many of you, graduate school is the best opportunity you will ever have to engage deeply with new ideas and with people who are different from you. I hope that we have challenged you and caused you to re-examine what you know and believe and on what basis you know or believe it. And I hope that you will take with you a propensity to ask questions, to interrogate assumptions, to speak up, to act to improve the world around you. I hope that you are leaving here having achieved the mission of the university, part of which says, the University of Georgia endeavors to prepare the university community for full participation in the global society of the 21st century. It seeks to foster the understanding of and respect for cultural differences necessary for an enlightened and educated citizenry. Whether you are earning a master's degree, an education specialist degree, or a doctoral degree today, you and your families have made many sacrifices to get here. Many of you pursued degrees while also holding down full-time jobs, caring for your families, or commuting to one of UGA's campuses. Others of you moved to Athens not knowing anyone here, and some of you moved half a world away from your homes, countries, and cultures to go to graduate school. Some of you completed a degree in a language that isn't the one you speak at home. Others of you left behind family in another country to come here. I know that graduate school was difficult, and perhaps some of you even wanted to quit at times. But I'm glad that you persevered despite the challenges you faced in earning your degree, because you are among the very select few in the world who have earned a graduate degree. As President Moorhead said in his introduction, I am a professor of education, which means I'm a teacher. More specifically, I'm a professor of mathematics education, which means we're about to have a math lesson. Or at least we're going to take a look at some numbers. Numbers that I suspect will surprise and maybe even shock you. According to the US Census Bureau, only 9% of the people in the United States have master's degrees, and only 2% have doctoral degrees. That's in the United States. A study from Harvard University showed that fewer than 7% of the people in the world hold a bachelor's degree, and data from UNESCO estimates that less than 1% of the people in the world hold a doctoral degree. Stop and think about that for a minute. Those of you earning doctoral degrees today are among less than 1% of the total population of the world. And fewer than 10% of the people in the world have any kind of graduate degree. You have indeed been given a very rare opportunity. Yes, I know you worked hard for it, but you also had an opportunity that the vast majority of people in the world do not have. Here are a few more pieces of data to consider. 70 million children in the world are denied a basic elementary education. More than half of these children are in war-torn regions of our world. In the 10 poorest countries in the world, 9 out of 10 girls do not complete elementary school. It's estimated that 17 million girls in the world never receive any formal education at all. 774 million people in the world are illiterate. In other words, they cannot read or write their own language. If those numbers are too big to digest, let's think about the world as a place with 100 people. That's the first 3 rows down here on the floor of this Coliseum. Of those 100, 17 would be illiterate. 13 would not have clean drinking water. 22 would not have electricity. 48 live on less than $2 a day. 16 would be hungry and malnourished, and 23 would have no shelter. Yes, those numbers are depressing, but here's the hope. There is a clear and direct link between education and poverty, and it's an inverse relationship. More education, less poverty. Data from UNESCO suggests that educating a girl can break cycles of poverty in just one generation. Girls who get an education earn higher wages and support healthier and more prosperous families. Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. And you have an education, a graduate education. So you are indeed a very special group of people. And to those whom much has been given, much is expected. You've been given much in the way of educational opportunity and attainment. So now what do you do with it? No one expects you to be Malala Yousufzai, the Pakistani teen who was shot in the head while on her way home from school by someone who thought that women should not be educated. Malala recovered from her injuries and went on to become the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner for her activism related to human rights, with a particular focus on the education of women and children. But how can you use the education you have to make a difference? You can use your privilege, because that's what an education gives you. Regardless of your race or gender, your education puts you in a place of privilege. And with that privilege comes power. Use that privilege and power to make the world a better place. I'll give you some ideas to get started, but I hope you will add to this list for the rest of your lives. First, if you have the right to vote wherever you live, please exercise that right every time you have the opportunity. But please do not walk into a voting booth without doing your homework. Don't even vote for a local judge or a mayor or a referendum without knowing who or what you are voting for. Having served as an elected member of my local Board of Education for 12 years, I promise you that who you elect in local government matters a lot. Take advantage of the fact that you have an internet connection and can read to find out what candidates stand for and what referenda are about before you vote. Second, your privilege gives you the opportunity to step up or speak up, or both, to support those without privilege. To do that, however, you must first open your eyes and your ears. Look for instances where people around you are being silenced or disadvantaged because they lack privilege. Listen to them to understand their experiences. Use your privilege to ask questions, to amplify the voices of those who are not being heard, and to advocate for alternatives. And by this, I mean something more than posting social media memes. I mean engaging in real time with real people in real situations and being brave enough to use your privilege to make a difference, no matter how small that difference may seem at the moment. Third, use your privilege to serve your community, your country, or the world in some small way outside of your job. We don't all have the time or the talent to run for office, to serve in the Peace Corps, or to be president of the Rotary Club. But we can all do something to serve others. Think about what you enjoy doing and where you have some talents, and find a place where they can be useful. Your local school, your community, or your place of worship. At different times in your life, you will have different capacities for service. When you have young children or elderly parents or a demanding job, you may not have a lot of time for service. But at other times, you may be looking for something to do with your spare time. In my experience, no matter what act of service you have the capacity to perform, you always get back more than you give. As I close, I want to take a moment to thank two people who made it possible for me to get an education and to be standing before you today. First, my mother, Mary Ann Betteridge, whose hard work and commitment to making sure that I could follow my dreams allowed me to be the first person in my immediate family to earn a college degree. And second, my major professor, Jeremy Kilpatrick, whose unwavering support of me throughout my doctoral studies and my career has made me a better thinker, writer, and educator, and given me many opportunities, both nationally and internationally. Thank you both for what you've contributed to my education and career, and thank you for being here today. Now it is time for the University of Georgia to award you the degrees that you have so rightfully earned. Before we do so, I ask that you never forget that your University of Georgia education puts you among a very privileged few in this world. Your graduate degree gives you power and choice. Make the choice to use your power to make the world a better place.
Thank you, Dean Spangler. Your remarks were most appropriate as these graduates step out now to meet the challenges that lie ahead. To our candidates, in a few moments, I will have the honor to confer upon you the degree for which you have been recommended by the graduate faculty and the Dean of the Graduate School. In conferring these degrees, the faculty and I have every confidence that you will represent the university with honor and that you will work to assure that the University of Georgia remains an institution in which the people of this state and nation will always take great pride. Today, you become an alumnus of the University of Georgia, a part of our Alumni Association, and we are pleased to have with us the 75th president of the UGA Alumni Association, Bonnie Schumann, who will welcome you to the alumni family. Bonnie graduated in 1980 with a bachelor's degree from the university. Soon after graduation, she co-founded Barcode Systems, which introduced the barcode to retailers such as Home Depot, Coca-Cola, and Saks Fifth Avenue. She later sold the barcode portion of the company and renamed it Stratix Corporation with a concentration on software development and total sales solutions. At the time of her retirement, early retirement, as CEO in 2011, Stratix had more than 160 employees and over 150 million in revenue. After her retirement, Bonnie established the David R. Knowlton Endowed Lecture Series here at the university in memory of Stratix co-founder. That annual lecture series promotes the intellectual exchange of ideas among business leaders and young scholars. Today, Bonnie lives on St. Simon's Island with her husband, also a UGA graduate, and she volunteers with her church, community foundation, and her sorority, Zeta Tau Alpha. Bonnie joined the UGA Alumni Board of Directors in 2006. She has been a constant supporter of the university, and we are so pleased that she now continues that journey as president of the UGA Alumni Association. Please join me in welcoming Bonnie Schumann.
Thank you, President Moorhead. It is an honor to be with you here today and to join our distinguished speaker, Dean Spangler, and to the class of 2018, congratulations. It is a great day to be a Georgia Bulldog. On behalf of the UGA Alumni Association, congratulations and welcome to the UGA Alumni family. All graduates are automatically members of the UGA Alumni Association, and we ask three things of you, three big commitments. We want you to connect, to hire, and give. So let's start with connect. I assume that many of you have been on social media today, maybe posting some photos on Instagram, but how many of you have followed the UGA Alumni Association? After the ceremony this morning, I want you to take out your cell phones and make sure you follow us. And be sure to always use the hashtag #AlwaysADog. when you post today and beyond, so that we can see the awesome things that you are doing as you go forth and solve the grand challenges of the world. I also want you to go online to alumni.uga.edu to update your information and connect to a local chapter wherever life takes you. There are more than 80 alumni chapters around the world. Our chapters host game watching parties, they do community service, and they have networking events all year round because we feel no bulldog should ever bark alone. As you progress in your careers, always keep students like yourselves in mind for internships, and when you have the opportunity, hire them for full-time positions. And certainly give back to the areas of campus that have made a difference to you, so that future Bulldogs can have these opportunities and more. To welcome you as alumni, each of you has been given a coin that bears the University of Georgia shielded arch in your class year. Carry this coin with you as you embark on your careers as a bit of good luck, a memento of your hard work, and a reminder that all things are possible. Congratulations again, and welcome to the UGA alumni family.
Thank you, Bonnie. The support and assistance of our alumni are essential to our continued quest for excellence at the University of Georgia, and I hope all of you will be connected to our university through the Alumni Association. Now I want to take a moment to introduce the senior administrators of the university who, in their operational areas, have contributed to your education. They are seated on the stage, and I will introduce them by row, and I will ask them to stand as their names are called and be seated once their row has been introduced. Audience, if you could please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Dr. Pamela Whitten, the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. Mr. Ryan Nesbitt, the Vice President for Finance and Administration. Mr. Kelly Kerner, the Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations. Dr. Raul Srivastav, the Vice President for Instruction. Dr. David Lee, the Vice President for Research. Dr. Jennifer Fromm, the Vice President for Public Service and Outreach. Mr. Victor Wilson, the Vice President for Student Affairs. Mr. Griff Doyle, the Vice President for Government Relations. Ms. Carrie Hobson-Pape, the Vice President for Marketing and Communications. Dr. Tim Chester, the Vice President for Information Technology. Dr. Russell Mumber, the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs. And Dr. Michelle Cook, the Vice Provost for Diversity and Inclusion and Strategic University Initiatives. Please join me in greeting these outstanding administrators. Serving as Grand Marshal for today's ceremony is Dr. Scott Pagan, Chair of the University Council Executive Committee. He is a faculty member in the College of Pharmacy, and it is the tradition for the Sheriff of Clark County to participate in the University of Georgia Commencement, and I want to thank Sheriff Ira Edwards for being with us this morning. Please join me in a round of applause for these platform guests. So, it's time to confer the degrees on the class of 2018. As we begin this part of the ceremony, let me take a moment to make a special presentation. While this is a joyous occasion, it is also, unfortunately, a bittersweet time as we remember a classmate who is not here today. Shaw Malcolm Carter is being awarded a degree posthumously this morning, and we join his family and friends in mourning his untimely death. In cases where deceased students have made substantial progress toward fulfilling requirements for graduation, the faculty may recommend that degrees be awarded posthumously. I have accepted such a recommendation for Shaw and will now confer his degree. Afterward, I ask that you join me in a moment of silence. By the authority vested in me as President of the University of Georgia by the Board of Regents, I now confer posthumously the degree Master of Public Administration on Shaw Malcolm Carter. Please join me in a moment of silence in memory of Shaw. Thank you. The Carter family is with us this morning. Please join me in recognizing them. And now it's time to confer the degrees that you have earned. Provost Twitten and Dr. Suzanne Barbour, Dean of the Graduate School, will assist in the ceremony.
As we begin conferring graduate degrees, if you'll indulge me for just a moment and allow me to present to you the deans of the schools and colleges. These deans are deeply committed to serving both faculty and students as they support the wide spectrum of scholarly and scientific inquiry represented by graduate programs across the university. They're seated on the stage, and I will introduce these tremendous deans by row. I'll ask them to stand as their names are called and be seated once their row has been introduced. And audience, if you're able to contain yourselves, please hold your applause until all have been introduced. We'll start with Dean Alan Dorsey of the Franklin College of Arts and Sciences, Dean Sam Pardue of the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Associate Dean Lori Ringhand of the School of Law, Dean Sven Oy of the College of Pharmacy, Dean Dale Green of the Daniel B. Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources, our newest dean, officially on the job 4 days now, Dean Denise Spangler of the College of Education, whom we've already met, Dean Ben Ayers of the C. Herman and Mary Virginia Terry College of Business, Dean Charles Davis of the Henry W. Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication, Dean Linda Kirk Fox of the College of Family and Consumer Sciences, Associate Dean Harry Dickerson of the College of Veterinary Medicine, Dean Anna Chayette of the School of Social Work, Dean Daniel Donadichek of the College of Environment and Design, Dean Matt Auer of the School of Public and International Affairs, Dean Philip Williams of the College of Public Health, Dean John Gittleman of the Eugene P. Odom School of Ecology, Campus Dean Shelley Nuss of the Augusta University, University of Georgia Medical Partnership, and Dean Don Leo of the College of Engineering. Please join me in greeting the deans. So it's now time for the university to confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended. To present candidates for graduate degrees, I'll call upon Dr. Suzanne Barbour, Dean of the Graduate School, to assist in the ceremony.
Thank you, Provost Whitten. 235 candidates have successfully qualified for doctoral degrees. President Moorhead, on behalf of the graduate faculty, I am pleased to present to you the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, Doctor of Musical Arts, and Doctor of Public Health. Will the candidates please rise?
By the authority vested in me as President of the University of Georgia by the Board of Regents, I now confer on you the degree for which you have been recommended by your dean and faculty, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations. You may be seated. In recognition of your high scholastic achievement, the ancient symbol of the hood will be placed upon your shoulders by your major professor or by representatives of the graduate faculty, Drs. Tom Valentine and Harry Daly. The marshals will conduct you to the stage. Please come forward as your name is called by Dr. William Kretschmer. Candidates will not necessarily be called in alphabetical order, and we respectfully ask that you not applaud individual candidates because it might cover up the name of the next person in line. Would the first two rows only please stand and follow the marshals?
Barry Hughes Shelton, Doctor of Philosophy, English, Major Professor William Kretschmer. Byung Soo, Doctor of Philosophy, Learning, Leadership, and Organizational Development, Major Professor Karen Watkins. Joseph C. Brennis Dawsey, Doctor of Philosophy, Learning, Leadership, and Organizational Development, Major Professor Karen Watkins. Catherine Lynn Davis, Doctor of Philosophy, Learning, Leadership, and Organizational Development, Major Professor Aliki Nikolaides. Iklan Emmanuel David, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Administration and Policy, Major Professor Shanika Williams. Douglas Brian Atkinson, Doctor of Philosophy, Political Science and International Affairs, Major Professor Andy Osiak. Leslie Adeline Blevins, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Psychology, Major Professor Cynthia Vale, Michelle Lease. Darlene Janet Bloxam, Doctor of Philosophy, Animal Nutrition, Major Professors Jean Pesty, Michael Azing. Susan Michelle Moore Thorne, Doctor of Philosophy, Language and Literacy Education, Major Professor Melissa Conman-Taylor. Kyle Lee Bauer, Doctor of Philosophy, Human Development and Family Science, Major Professor Denise Lewis, accompanied by Maria Bermudez. Lavian Samuel Jordan, Doctor of Philosophy, Human Development and Family Science, Major Professor Desiree Sapansky, accompanied by Maria Bermudez. James Frederick Amanas, Doctor of Philosophy, Science Education, Major Professor Barbara Crawford. Yea Ji, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Robert Woods, accompanied by Mark Tompkins. Yi-Jin Jung, Doctor of Philosophy, Marine Sciences, Major Professor Adrian Bird. Stephen Patrick Brannon, Doctor of Philosophy, Anthropology, Major Professor Stephen Kowalewski, accompanied by Jennifer Birch. Jacob Lulowitz, Doctor of Philosophy, Anthropology, Major Professor Jennifer Birch. Catherine Brackett-Fialka, Doctor of Philosophy, History, Major Professor Stephen Barry. Andrew William Fialka, Doctor of Philosophy, History, Major Professor Stephen Barry. Eric Lanier Gillis, Doctor of Philosophy, Epidemiology, Major Professor Tony Miles, accompanied by Chang-Wei Li. Wen Gu, Doctor of Philosophy, Engineering, Major Professor Jason Christian. Maytap Kermachi, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Theory and Practice, Major Professor Martha Alexat Snyder. Paige Elizabeth Howell, Doctor of Philosophy, Forest Resources, Major Professor Richard Chandler. Taryn Tinasha Chemwan Doita Brown, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Theory and Practice, Major Professor Stephanie Jones. Matthew Abbott Bloodgood, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Tina Salguero. Gregory Robert Nair, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Tina Salguero. Haley Patricia Broussard, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Norbert Pienta. Hunter Patrick Hickox, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Gregory Robinson. Andreas Victor Kopan, Presidential Fellow, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Henry Schaefer. Kevin Bruce Moore III, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Henry Schaefer. Kevin Vincent Murphy, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Henry Schaefer. Carson Shane Brooks, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Jason Laughlin. Manish Satish Hudlikar, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Gert Jan Bunz. Delaram Yazdan Sepas, Doctor of Philosophy, Computer Science, Major Professor Lakshmish Ramaswamy. Laura Ann Wilt, Doctor of Philosophy, Pharmacy, Major Professor Arthur Roberts. Courtney Marie Dutchkowski, Doctor of Philosophy, Pharmacy, Major Professor Scott Pagan. Muhammad Ali Al-Kinya, Doctor of Philosophy, Pharmacy, Major Professor Shelley Hooks. Lauren Catherine Hudson, Doctor of Philosophy, Food Science, Major Professor Mark Harrison. Matthew Brent Eady, Doctor of Philosophy, Food Science, Major Professor Bosun Park. Jun Lee, Doctor of Philosophy, Theater, Major Professor Marla Carlson. Sun He Lee, Doctor of Philosophy, Foods and Nutrition, Major Professor Claire de la Serre. Moon Jung Kang, Doctor of Philosophy, Forest Resources, Major Professor Yachek Siri. Bridget Peterson Lynch, Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology, Major Professor Michelle Van Dellen. Rachel Lynn Williamson, Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology, Major Professor Nathan Carter, accompanied by Melissa Clark. Melissa Mitchell Robertson, Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology, Major Professor Lillian Ebi. Mary Elizabeth Selden, Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology, Major Professor Adam Goody. Ralph Griffin Hale, Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology, Major Professor James M. Brown. Sejen Kim, Doctor of Philosophy, Learning Design and Technology, Major Professor Ixian Choi. Megan Michelle Filkowski, Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology, Major Professor Dean Sabatinelli. Sujin An, Doctor of Philosophy, Language and Literacy Education, Major Professor Ruth Harmon. Amanda Kelly Lane, Doctor of Philosophy, Genetics, Major Professor Jay Liebens-Mack, accompanied by Tessa Andrews. Arundhati Jagdish, Doctor of Philosophy, Forest Resources, Major Professor Puneet Dwivedi, accompanied by Gary Green. Jane Diener, Doctor of Philosophy, Forest Resources, Major Professor Gary Green, accompanied by Gerard Kowalski. Lauren Kate Ward, Doctor of Philosophy, Forest Resources, Major Professor Gary Green. Jamie Craig Atkinson, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Theory and Practice, Major Professor Brian Dotz. James Aaron Harris, Doctor of Philosophy, Cellular Biology, Major Professor Carl Lectrick. Florence Adanma Kanu, Doctor of Philosophy, Epidemiology, Major Professor Jose Cordero. Carrie Waite-Sell, Doctor of Philosophy, Science Education, Major Professor J. Steve Oliver. David Paul Steele, Doctor of Philosophy, Science Education, Major Professors Deborah Tippins and David Jackson. Robert Christopher Idsardi, Doctor of Philosophy, Science Education, Major Professor Julie Luft. Sung Chul Kang, Doctor of Philosophy, Public Administration, Major Professor Lawrence O'Toole, accompanied by Brad Wright. Ashton Phillips Griffin, Doctor of Philosophy, Ecology, Major Professors Andrew Park, James Porter. Chao Li, Doctor of Philosophy, Biostatistics, Major Professors Ye Shen, Kevin Dobbin. Eva Nanette Cleveland, Doctor of Philosophy, Health Promotion and Behavior, Major Professor Jessica Muhlenberg. Anne-Marie Scipani, Doctor of Philosophy, Health Promotion and Behavior, Major Professor Jessica Muhlenberg. Ayana Robinson, Doctor of Philosophy, Health Promotion and Behavior, Major Professor Marcia Davis, accompanied by Jessica Muhlenberg. James Maxwell Lanterman, Presidential Fellow, Doctor of Philosophy, Mathematics, Major Professor Ming-Yun Lai. Elizabeth Tomlin Kulata, Doctor of Philosophy, Sociology, Major Professor Jody Clay Warner. Tara Elizabeth Sutton, Doctor of Philosophy, Sociology, Major Professor Leslie Gordon Simmons. Martha Carolina Chavarro, Doctor of Philosophy, Plant Breeding Genetics and Genomics, Major Professor Scott Jackson, Peggy Ozias Yakins. Kevin Sean Fowler, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Psychology, Major Professor Stacy Newhart Pritchett, accompanied by Sean Glenn. Marianne Marie Wetherill, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Psychology, Major Professor Louis Castanel, accompanied by Sean Glynn. Samit Astork, Doctor of Philosophy, Food Science, Major Professors Fan Bin Kong, Rakesh Singh. Yu Hui, Doctor of Philosophy, Food Science, Major Professor Jinru Chen. Joycelyn Kwansima Kwanza, Doctor of Philosophy, Food Science, Major Professor Jinru Chen. Kristen Lauren Coulter Linthicum, Doctor of Philosophy, Higher Education, Major Professor James Hearn. David Lowry, Doctor of Education, Higher Education, Major Professor Robert Tutkushian. Samantha Marie Rogers, Doctor of Philosophy, Higher Education, Major Professor Karen Weber. Janet Hurd Kelly, Doctor of Education, Higher Education, Major Professor Karen Weber. Rui Chen, Doctor of Philosophy, Business Administration, Major Professor Marcus de Cunha. Christian S. Markello, Doctor of Philosophy, Epidemiology, Major Professor Mark Ebel. Ariela Perry Dale, Doctor of Philosophy, Epidemiology, Major Professor Mark Ebel. Mona Amadiani, Doctor of Philosophy, Agricultural and Applied Economics, Major Professor Susanna Ferreira, Craig Landry. Shivankar Ghosh, Doctor of Philosophy, Geography, Major Professor Deepak Mishra. Jiaying Wu, Doctor of Philosophy, Geography, Major Professor David F. Purinchu, accompanied by Marguerite Madden. Neil Andrew Debbage, Doctor of Philosophy, Geography, Major Professor J. Marshall Shepard. Giselle Marissa Balfour, Doctor of Philosophy, Social Work, Major Professor David Okage. Thomas Anthony Kolunga, Doctor of Philosophy, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, Major Professor Stephen Dalton. Matthew John Moulton, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Theory and Practice, Major Professor Gail Andrews. Yunji Cho, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Theory and Practice, Major Professor Kyunghwa Lee, accompanied by Gail Andrews. Jamie Jordan Hogan, Doctor of Philosophy, Language and Literacy Education, Major Professor Sarah Keider. Jessica Lee Maddox, Doctor of Philosophy, Mass Communication, Major Professor Carolina Costal Zuru. Kellyanne Lund Newman, Doctor of Philosophy, Learning Design and Technology, Major Professor Theodore Kopcha. Stephen James Landry, Doctor of Philosophy, Language and Literacy Education, Major Professor Bob Thecko, accompanied by Donna Alverman. Rachel Kaminsky Sanders, Doctor of Philosophy, Language and Literacy Education, Major Professor Donna Alverman. Michael Merva, Doctor of Philosophy, Social Foundations of Education, Major Professor Andrew Gitlin. Rishi R. Musalia, Doctor of Philosophy, Plant Biology, Major Professor John Burke. Benjamin Bruce Stewart Brown, Doctor of Philosophy, Plant Breeding, Genetics and Genomics, Major Professor Zhenglu Li. Clinton James Steketee, Doctor of Philosophy, Plant Breeding, Genetics and Genomics, Major Professor Zhenglu Li. Xiao Xiao Sun, Doctor of Philosophy, Statistics, Major Professor Ping Ma. Yi Wen Liu, Doctor of Philosophy, Statistics, Major Professor Wenxuan Zhang. Xin Cheng, Doctor of Philosophy, Statistics, Major Professor Wenxuan Zhang. Amanda Kate Tinkle, Doctor of Philosophy, Animal and Dairy Science, Major Professor C. Robert Dove. Maria Nasco, Doctor of Philosophy, Comparative Biomedical Science, Major Professor John Peroni. Adebempe Onyeme Obandan, Doctor of Philosophy, Comparative Biomedical Science, Major Professor Daniel Perez. Iona Laverne Winter Parks, Doctor of Philosophy, Romance Languages, Major Professor Jonathan Krill. Shaquinta Lawana Lene Richardson, Doctor of Philosophy, Human Development and Family Science, Major Professor Zolinda Stoneman. Kishana Yvonne Taylor, Doctor of Philosophy, Interdisciplinary Biomedical Science, Major Professors David Stahlknecht, Daniel Mead. Yun Chun Wang, Doctor of Philosophy, Integrative Physiology and Pharmacology, Major Professor Shiyu Chen. Michael Barry Drew, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Annalisa Singh. Joseph Chunmin Pak, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Annalisa Singh. Chin Jean Shim So, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Natoya Haskins, accompanied by Annalisa Singh. Tamika Oliphant Grimes, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor George McMahon. Xian Chuan Wang, Doctor of Philosophy, Social Work, Major Professor Larry Nakarud. Sharina K. Sasa, Doctor of Philosophy, Social Work, Major Professor Larry Nakarud. John Mwangi Nyorogi, Doctor of Philosophy, Major Professor Melissa Seymour Fahmy. Abraham Verghese, Doctor of Philosophy, Mathematics, Major Professor Mingyun Lai. Jeremiah Alec Roy Pina, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Psychology, Major Professor Mark Runco. Mark Stephen Mudrick, Doctor of Philosophy, Physics, Major Professor David Landau. Brian Michael Shepard, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Theory and Practice, Major Professor Margaret Wilder. Justin J. Norris, Doctor of Philosophy, Political Science and International Affairs, Major Professor Michael Lynch, accompanied by Paul Gurian. Sonia Sharman, Doctor of Philosophy, Language and Literacy Education, Major Professor Linda Harklow. Darren Rim, Doctor of Philosophy, Language and Literacy Education, Major Professor Peter Smagorinsky. Dorothy Jean Musselwhite, Doctor of Philosophy, Music, Major Professors Brian Wesolowski, George Engelhardt. Ashish Sharma, Doctor of Philosophy, Business Administration, Major Professor Sundar Barawade. Carolina Suj, Doctor of Philosophy, Business Administration, Major Professor Elena Karahana. Carrie Virginia Smith, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Laura Dean. Kara Simmons, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Laura Dean. Margaret Saratella Tennant, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Laura Dean. Sarah Elizabeth Jones, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Laura Dean. Marissa Atencio, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Georgiana Martin. Peter Lucas Packett, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Diane Cooper. Justin Robert Barlow, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Diane Cooper. David Charles Jenkins, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Diane Cooper. India Lucretia Blackburn, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Diane Cooper. Jonathan Richard Duke, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Chris Lindner. Judith Mary Pennell, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Chris Linder. Courtney Allison Gay, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Chris Linder, accompanied by Candace Moore. Justin Owen Grimes, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Chris Linder. Demetrius Douglas Smith, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Chris Linder. Willeen Patrice Brown, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Denis Means. Zoe Marilyn Johnson, Doctor of Philosophy, Counseling and Student Personnel Services, Major Professor Marilee Dunn. Ashley Marie Dobbs, Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Marilee Dunn. Arthur Edwin, Doctor, Jr., Doctor of Education, Student Affairs Leadership, Major Professor Marilee Dunn. Henna Marian Messina, Doctor of Philosophy, English, Major Professor Beth Tobin. Caitlin Reeves Williams, Doctor of Philosophy, Microbiology, Major Professor Duncan Krause. Lindsay Michelle Wright, Doctor of Philosophy, Infectious Diseases, Major Professors Mary Hondulas, Vincent Starai. Samantha Lynn Tucker, Doctor of Philosophy, Infectious Diseases, Major Professor Russell Carls. Zachary James Saylor, Doctor of Philosophy, Microbiology, Major Professor Rob Meyer. Bruno Goncalo Salas, Doctor of Philosophy, Romance Languages, Major Professor Robert Moser. Haley Reed Toomas, Doctor of Philosophy, Forest Resources, Major Professor Campbell Nairn. Celie Nichelle Blair, Doctor of Education, Learning, Leadership, and Organizational Development, Major Professor Karen Watkins. Deirdre Mariette Kane, Doctor of Education, Learning, Leadership, and Organizational Development, Major Professor Karen Watkins. Shannon Renee Corey, Doctor of Education, Learning, Leadership, and Organizational Development, Major Professor Wendy Ruona. Jane Christine O'Connor, Doctor of Education, Learning, Leadership, and Organizational Development, Major Professor Wendy Ruona. Marian Elizabeth Waltemeth, Doctor of Philosophy, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, Major Professor Mike T. Meyer. Timothy Brandon Ward, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Michael Duncan, accompanied by John Amster. Ru Wen, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Jin Shi, accompanied by John Amster. Yu Ji Zhao, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Jonathan Amster. Yan Zhou, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Ramaraja Ramasamy. William Monroe Thompson, Doctor of Philosophy, Agricultural and Applied Economics, Major Professor Nicholas Magnan, accompanied by Ellen McCullough. Allison Elizabeth Trasasset, Doctor of Philosophy, Political Science and International Affairs, Major Professor Tina Wilhelm. Daniel Thomas Waxter, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor John Dayton. Gregory Larkin Purser, Doctor of Philosophy, Social Work, Major Professor Orion Mowbray. Crystal Tanya Cooper-Thompson, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Karen Bryant. Demetria Devon Williams, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Karen Bryant. Pamela Jacqueline Williams, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Karen Bryant. Kimberlyn Hendricks Weston, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Karen Bryant. Deborah Maria Greaves, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Karen Bryant. Richard Andrew Wutley, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Karen Bryant. Panayota Luka, Doctor of Philosophy, Cellular Biology, Major Professor Jacek Gertig. Anna Mary Walthall Smith, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Shanika Williams. Aaron Bradford Archambault, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Shanika Williams. Benjamin Taylor Cross, Doctor of Education, Educational Leadership, Major Professor Shanika Williams. Ashley Ann Snofer, Doctor of Philosophy, Genetics, Major Professor Jonathan Eggenschweiler. Ariel Joanne Van Leuven, Doctor of Philosophy, Cellular Biology, Major Professor James Lauderdale. Krishna Fani Kumar Vandrevu, Doctor of Philosophy, Computer Science, Major Professor Roberto Perdici. Tyler James Stampy, Doctor of Musical Arts, Composition, Major Professor Adrian Childs. Matthew Adam Sadowski, Doctor of Musical Arts, Conducting, Major Professor Cynthia Johnston Turner. Crystal Wenyu Wu, Doctor of Musical Arts, Piano, Major Professors Martha Thomas, Emily Gertsch. Deborah Ashton Caldwell, Doctor of Musical Arts, trumpet, Major Professor Philip Smith. Mine Park, Doctor of Musical Arts, violin, Major Professor Lavan Abartsumian, accompanied by Maggie Snyder. Christopher Cody Williams, Doctor of Musical Arts, viola, Major Professor Maggie Snyder. Emily Claire Zierlin, Doctor of Musical Arts, flute, Major Professor Angela Jones-Royce. Christopher Thompson Bellini, Doctor of Philosophy, English, Major Professor John Lowe, accompanied by Cynthia Camp. Robbie Doran Darren Nodler, Doctor of Philosophy, English, Major Professor Reginald McKnight, accompanied by Christy Desmond. Melody Anna Ryan Walter, Doctor of Philosophy, Chemistry, Major Professor Todd Harrop. Stephen Roger Andrew Walter, Doctor of Philosophy, Political Science and International Affairs, Major Professor Chad Clay. Christine Olivia Sampson, Doctor of Philosophy, Kinesiology, Major Professor Kathleen Brown Kroll, accompanied by Kathy Simpson. Catherine Marie Fritz, Doctor of Philosophy, Kinesiology, Major Professor Patrick O'Connor. Nicole Hoffman, Doctor of Philosophy, Kinesiology, Major Professor Julianne Schmidt. Erica Reese, Doctor of Philosophy, Kinesiology, Major Professor Ellen Evans. Carlos Javier Torres, Doctor of Philosophy, Kinesiology, Major Professor Ellen Evans. Megha Wishwanathan, Doctor of Philosophy, Kinesiology, Major Professor Ellen Evans. Jamil Monique Gillum, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Psychology, Major Professor Amy Reshley. Philip Dale Grant, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Administration and Policy, Major Professor Sally Zepeda, accompanied by Shanika Williams. Delia Brommel Allen, Doctor of Philosophy, Educational Administration and Policy, Major Professor John Dayton, accompanied by Shanika Williams. Milad Sadeghi Maki, Doctor of Philosophy, Computer Science, Major Professor Chunming Yu. Robert Cuckeray, Doctor of Public Health, Major Professor Christopher Whalen. William Henry Potts Datema, Doctor of Public Health, Major Professor Nathan Hansen. Makabel Nolana Wolfork, Doctor of Public Health, Major Professors Joel Lee and Amara Eziamama.
Ladies and gentlemen, the newest doctors from the University of Georgia.
And 964 candidates have successfully qualified for the Master's and Specialist in Education degrees. President Moorhead, it is my pleasure to present to you the candidates for the Master's degrees and the Specialist in Education degrees. Will the candidates please rise?
By the authority vested in me as President of the University of Georgia by the Board of Regents, I now confer on you the degree for which you have been recommended by your Dean and faculty with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations. You may be seated. The marshals will conduct recipients of master's degrees and specialist in education degrees to the stage. As your name is called by Dr. Ann Marcotte, please proceed across the stage to accept our congratulations. Candidates will not necessarily be called in alphabetical order, and we respectfully ask that you not applaud individual candidates because it might cover up the name of the next person in line. With the first two rows only, please stand and follow the marshals.
Specialist in Education, Tidra Elise Norwood. Ember Awagu Lumpkin. Francisco Rodriguez. James Arthur Fisher. Adam Ladding Crawford. Joanna Patrignani. Leilani Nicole Esmond. Keenan Xavier Lee. Heather Nicole Perry. Brandy Elise Allen. Anna E. Crowley Leatherwood. Victoria Steger Wynn. Master of Arts, Gabrielle Dawn Johnson Cameron. Emma Eileen Roundtree. Lauren Elizabeth Titley. Charles Sills. Isabel Mann. Hunter William Helwig. James Preston Hayes. Stephen Charles Pritchett. Anna Spetz. Ryan Michael Decker. Alexander Onkierski. Jessica Ray Walker. Karen Gabriela Ortega. Vera Maria Bula. Elizabeth Lee Watson. Diana Elizabeth Huzar. James Patrick Lichtenwalter. Thomas Robert Cullen. Joshua Neil Cohen. Lindsay Brooke Brochure. Marilyn Primovic. Gabrielle Jennifer Cowand. Christopher Thomas Swinson. Joshua Matthew Payne. Sergio Emmanuel Garcia Tapia. Sarah Catherine Carter. Ashley Nicole Meadow. Matthew Kevin Humphreys. Tomas Okal. Madison Grace Conkle. Travis Ryan Henry. Aisha Trawe. Douglas Austin Becker. Tara Lee Penton. Simone Becker. Laramie Nicole Holloway. Grace Margaret Clark. Vivian Kristen Langer. Nicholas Damian Roquette. Nassim Fekrat. Melissa Kylie Campbell. Alexandria Renee McIntyre. Christina Lynn Hamilton Griffith. Elspeth Gorman Mayle. Naomi Rhiannon Thomas. Rachel Catherine Keene. Josh Rainey. Master of Science, Derixa D. Hernandez Abrams. Destiny Dawn Lloyd. Caitlin Cheyenne Beckemeyer. Sarah Anderson. Kason Lee Dremen. Soon Lam Chow. Nicholas James Bauman. Poan Chi. Matthew Robert Baker. Kayla Marie Eason. Maria Katrina Sheila Estrada Laurel. Adam Edward Burgess. Michael Anthony Casas. Jason Philip Edwards. Joanna Cynthia Evans. Christina Juliette Hoff. Sophie Olivia Waller. Connor Baxter Perry. Jose Guadalupe Gonzalez. Cameron Alexander Lemons. Dashan Jamel Axon Lawrence. Denidra Elan Watkins. Bradley Jordan Holmes. David Luke Stanaland. Chun Liang. Chalet Shi. Cullen LaPointe. Ji-Hyun Kim. Yi-Hui Ho. Ho-Suk Choi. Faranak Jalazadefard. Michael Thurman Biggerstaff. Kristen Nicole Engebretson. Deanna Marie Doheny. Leah Brooke Chandley. Anthony David Scott. Wenji K. Charles Austin Brayman. Zachary Chilton. Anthony Dwight Britt. Abigail S. Knapp. Cody Thomas Mattison. Fabiola de Jesus Jimenez. Joyce B. Elbeyruthi. Llewellyn Swayzer. Maulesh Sunil Trifedi. Sai Balakavi. Pranav Kalan Panagi. Pranjay Pramod Pratil. Nitin Saroha. Vishnu Goda Harish. Divya Spandana Marneni. Lovina Moses DeMello. Venumra Jane. Odidra Devon Williams. Matthew Richard Mays. Matthew Alec Stowers. Alicia Marie Wilson. Xiaohan Zhang. Olivia H. Vandegreek. Michael Andremorla Oyeyemi. Jordan McKeel Meredith. Amy Michelle Walden. Megan Elizabeth Ware. Chester Michael Sokolowski. Quinn Brinton Tracy. Yoon Cho. Urvashi Sharma. Luke Daniel Miller. Brent Cannon Lippert. Master of Accountancy, Zachary Stinnett Nolan. Thomas Jefferson Brake. Brendan Michael Hull. Harris Bartlett Wilson. Juliet Bradford Palmer. Julia Perelka Moldenhar. Emily Grace Freeman. Joseph Beretta. Allison Lynn Myers. Robert Austin Siegel. Christian Durrell Hill. Eric Maxwell Retoff. Summer Burnett. Leslie Violet Apselhoff. Victoria Lynn Francis. Philip Zachary Hammond. Laura Elizabeth Charles. Alexandra Nicole Felsing. Christina Diane Martin. Kevin Patrick Coyne. Abigail Noel Quigley. Jordan Taylor Millwood. Samantha Lynn Clark. Lori Chantel Diolio. Maria Amelia Orlando. Natalie Rose Newman. Talia Lachey Draper. Jessica Marie Gilbert. Ryan Brooks. Devin H. Patel. Margarita R. Martirosian. Ruqi Jiang. Richard G. Len. Ashley Nicole Alzati. Dorothy Grace Goodwin. Danielle Catherine von Meeren. Anna Hayes Vaughn. Harrison Connor Zuck. Max Cooper Wilson. Michael Bartz. Master of Business Administration, Nicholas Christopher Clem. Master of Agricultural Leadership, Pamela Ann Block. Yifan Day. Master of Arts in Teaching, Melissa Rose Basil. Margaret Graham Smith. Brittany Marie York. Sarah Rosalie David. Sierra Darren Joyner. Laura Frances Kelly McHugh. Sarah Devon Milford. Ainsley Lauren Butler. Tanisha Yvonne Wimbish. Eric Andrew Kirk. Juhi Rajesh Faria. Kylie Rochelle Wallingford. Erin Nicole Kagler. Alexander Michael Burns. Master of Education, Caroline Marie DeSandri. Jamie Michelle Radacioni. Alexandra Christina Godwin. Ashley Kelly Clower. Sarah Bratton Carter. Amanda Jessie Wilson. Andrea Michelle Kaut. Frances Chizuko Robinson. Ashley Ariel Collins. Elizabeth Ann Baldwin. Alyssa Darby Claggett. Ariana Mollers. Matthew Daniel Klein. Johanna Eliza Batarizna Padrid. Zachary Ryan Romo. Jacqueline Marie Hawkins. Brittany Shanice Smith. Connor Kenneth Smith. Tori Catherine Tanner. Pearson Matthews Brown. Matthew Robert Fitzpatrick. Brian Garsh. Amanda April Torrance. Blaze Stanley Bolaman. Diane Elizabeth Humphreys. Tom Wentworth Fenner. Samuel DeSalle. William Robert Draper. Kendall Mays Harper. Jessica Lynn Caldwell. Lindsay Victoria Bryant. Ying Chen. Xingyi Li. Taylor Nicole Bauman. Janae Blasa Castillo Barraza. Brittany Champion Colquitt. Catherine DeLucienne. Tessa Renee Carr. Yingli Lin. Jenny Lin. Tong Lin. Kristen Elizabeth Bush. Brandy Simone Owens. Abdul Kenyatta Lindsay. Taylor Adam Brost. Julia Jean Buick. Sarah Marie Holmes. Audrey Gil Rodriguez. Olivia Rachel Beck. Farhana Raman Lilly. Olivia Elizabeth Knight. Granada Rebecca Watson. Shakila Katura Wise. Jamarcus Aiden Farrow. Edmonia Sine Doe. Elizabeth Cadenas Bautista. Chanel Thomasina Smith. Alicia Danielle Parker. Brittany Nicole Hinkle. Natalie D. Weeks. Holly Amelia Turton. Master of Arts and Master of Education, Christina Marlene Kotsakis Cordone. Anna Marty Rosianne. Rachel Elizabeth Ermchuk. Mary Margaret Smith. Danielle Simone King. Adam Evan Lowe. Sarah Elizabeth Party. Cheryl Yvette Wilson. Reed Allen. Kelly Mace Chancholo. Joseph Stevens Hopper. Kelsey Michelle Numerdor. Catherine Elizabeth Ballou. Christine Elizabeth Waters. Jessica Catherine Robinette. Taylor Ryan Masters. April Lindsay Whitaker. Kelsey Elizabeth O'Brien. Leah Brooke Davis. Jihi Ham. Chandria Takia Person. Lauren Ashley Murphy. Erin Simone Bird. Colin Maria Partain. Mackenzie Brooke Pretty. Claire Alice Jameson. Megan Nicole Singleton. Catherine Rose Hall. Anna Elizabeth Newton. Christopher Michael Hicks. Lindsay Rebecca Morgan. Victoria Paige Sowell. Madeline Batch May. Elizabeth Lee Hill. Rachel Lynn Robertson. Erin Patricia Brown. Jennifer Winberg. Jacqueline Marie Serletti. Laurel Olivia Hunter. Lee Yang. Yulia Tereshchenko. Elizabeth Bland Neesmith. Chelsea Marie Ward. Philip Chambers Ian. Yu Chin. Jessica Ruth Horman. Charlie Ruth Kane. Elizabeth Camille Jackson. Gabriel Michael Snell. David Richard Bolt. Jacqueline Margaret White. Shelby Miranda Milton. Yuting Yang. Master of Business and Technology, Eliseo Huertas Santos. Brittany Nicole Lovett. Duke Trung Vo. Jamaris Ramon Jackson. Ashley Nicole Reese. Master of Environmental Planning and Design, Steve Patrick Cannon. Christopher Todd Weisner. Gabrielle Antoinette Pierre. Bingji Kui. Master of Fine Arts, Larry Vaughn Cox Jr. Marlon Andrew Burnley. Taylor Elise Wood. Anna Christine Pieri. Catherine Marie Butcher. Brittany Simone Harris. Kyle Christian Morrison. Master of Forest Resources, Alexander Sauls Barfield. Ronald Bradley Carr. Taylor E. Eccles. William Schultz Laxon. Jared David May. Amelia Katerina Perry. Master of Food Technology, Gerald R. Mercer. Master of Historic Preservation, Rebecca Tamar Helfgott. Maria Lucille Rachel. Paige Christian Ritter. Master of International Policy, Ryan Allen Money. Heather Allison Seeger. Valeria Losova. Brianna Tanisha Dingman. Jason Allen Lowe. Bobby Berard Weatherington. Master of Landscape Architecture, Lee Fu. Master of Music, Bradley Joseph Esau. Lindy Abigail Thompson. Naomi Ellen McKinney. Raimi Alexander Hart Kepler. Christopher Travis Mason. Nick Belchev. Chin Ling. Soyoon Lee. Mackenzie Lynn Marr. Master of Public Administration, Sachi Valerie De La Cruz. Brittany Lynn Cleveland. Matthew Aaron Pace. Mary Laura Ann Holland. Annalisa Grace Warnat. Benjamin Taylor Hines. Rosemary Ellen Walk. Rebecca Camille McIver. Caitlin Powers. K.T. White Truzinski. Robert Irwin Hines. Ashley Carter Bradford. Heian Fan. Seeing Chu. Darby Lane Steckman. Madison Aileen Nick Dean. Shelby Ann Brown. Jonathan Mark Madison. Bolade Omolira Obodunrin. Maya LaDawn Dudley. Michelle Gyeong Larson. Catherine Ann Green. Patricia Sujung Lee. Stephen Thomas Jaquiz. Caroline Shaw Robertson. Pearson Reed Brantley. Ahmed M. Okasha. Joseph Holdren Boyles. Samuel Joseph Fretwell. Stephen Harrison Daniel. Jordan Megan Rogers. Selena Camille Snoddy. Michelle Renee Griffin. Carrie Shope Campbell. James Alexander Finlayson. Melissa Margaret Little. Sean Leonard Walker. Frances Rachel Cassava. Gyeonggu Kang. Byung Hwan Choi. Jun Hong Ha. Dahl Park. Master of Public Health, Frederic Lefebvre. Aisha Khan. Sita Chandra. Alyssa Bardwell Reagan. Shelby Simone Narr. Abigail Lee Jones. Sai Varun Nagula. Lindsay Catherine Ruth Rolls. Michelle Elaine Gleason. Joanna Simonik. Camilla Ashley Herndon. Devan Nicole Kirkpatrick. Hilal Idris. Kolo Gowal Ghana. Shantasika Miarshe Gilliam. Ebony Jemiah Alford. Master of Social Work, James Brian Stinchcomb. Lee Ann Diaz. Ashley Elizabeth Urkala. Andrea Tashera Little. Laura Ann Crecelius. Maudupe Owambari Olufsoye. Heather Elana Albert. Brockton James Funky. Erin Kathleen Rossiter Billick. Audretta Therese Clark Giddens. Brianna Viola McMillan. Ashley Elizabeth McCloskey. Miriam Fatihi. Jessica Elizabeth Correll. Tiffany Elizabeth Garay. Aubrey Elizabeth Stone. Kayla Ann Parsh. Cheyenne Michelle Sotelo. Kelsey Dickerson Fields. Justin Danielle Smith. Emily Lauren James.
Ladies and gentlemen, our newest Masters and Specialist graduates. At this time, I want to recognize two very important groups of people who have contributed significantly to the education of our students at the University of Georgia. We are fortunate to have a faculty of exceptional quality and ability. As teachers, advisors, mentors, and friends, these faculty members have been instrumental in helping our students reach this point, and I know they are all grateful. A number of our faculty are here today, and I would like to ask them to stand, and I would ask the graduates and audience members to show our appreciation to them. Without the continuing support of families and friends of the graduates, this celebration today certainly would not have been possible. Will all the families and friends of the graduates please stand, and would the graduates please express to them your appreciation? The group of graduates assembled before you today represents tangible and inspiring evidence of the wisdom and foresight of Abraham Baldwin and those who drafted the charter of the University of Georgia, and thus began in 1785 the great American tradition of publicly sponsored higher education. Graduates, you have proven yourself capable of the highest level of academic achievement, and we are proud of you. Whatever your future holds, your time here preparing for life and citizenship is an accomplishment that you will carry with you always. Congratulations and best wishes. We will now conclude the ceremony with the singing of the Alma Mater by Lake and Danielle Morris, followed by the recessional. I would request that everyone remain in their seats until the platform party and faculty have completed the recessional and an announcement is made that the ceremony is concluded. After the recessional, please take note that there will be streamer cannons going off overhead to help us celebrate, so don't let the loud noises startle you. Please now rise for the Alma Mater.
This concludes the ceremony.
Congratulations, graduates.
Go Dogs! Sick 'em! Woo, woo, woo.